a sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm so happy to welcome back to On Camera with me is my friend Coralee Holmes. Hello, Coralee.
Hello.
So Coralee was just showing me, turn around and show me that earring that you have. Look at that. That is so
fun
cool.
Earring.
All the way up the ear.
Yeah.
I
love it.
Yeah, for sure. We were before I started the taping, we were talking about some other things, you know, and I just saying how we just need laughs one time. So every once in a while, right? Because there's so much garbage going out there and so much false information and the haters and oh my gosh.
So I told Nancy I put my bling on and makeup so that I disguised myself so no one would know who I was.
Who is this with me?
Yeah.
No,
Because in my real life, I don't wear makeup very much at all.
You're living in Cache Creek now.
Yeah.
How long have you been there now?
In November, it'll be a year.
Wow, that went so fast. So for those of you who don't know, Coralee used to be here in Chilliwack. And by the way, we met originally at Toastmasters and we were with the Optimist Club together. And she was so much a part of my show for a long, long time. And even after COVID, helping me figure things out, I have to do things on my own. So miss you for that, Coralee, let me tell you.
You're doing really well on your own.
Thank you.
I've been watching your shows. Yeah, you're doing really well.
Thanks. I even have subscribers now too. So now I want to know from your perspective, the life for you from being in Chilliwack, where there's a lot more, I would say, amenities or whatever it is, to life in Cache Creek.
So I got to give you a little bit of my background because it does color this transition for me. I was raised in the country in Pritchard. We moved every year until I was in grade 10. I think we finally settled in Victoria. So I've lived up north. I've lived in the interior. I haven't lived so much in the southern interior, but mostly the middle and the north, and then the coast. We settled in Victoria when like I said, in grade 10. Victoria was my first city experience, actually. And it was quite different. We didn't fit in right away. Everyone knew we were different. It was funny because one of the girls I met at high school years after said to me, yeah, you were the family that just did whatever they wanted. You had that freedom to just do whatever you wanted. And I remember thinking, well, you could too, but it's different being raised in the country than being raised in the city, I think. And so I was in the city since grade 10 and considered myself a city person. And then we moved back out to the country. My husband's never lived in the country. He's only ever lived in the city. And for me, it felt like coming home.
Oh, yeah, right. It's interesting, how we could have changed along the way, like our perspective of places we've lived or wherever, right?
Well, and I see now with this move, like the move from the country to the city, I knew we just didn't fit in very well, but I didn't know why. And now this move back to the country, I'm like, oh, I kind of get it. Because you know what henna is.
Yes.
Everyone in the city knows what henna is. It's everywhere. They have no idea what it is in the country. I brought it out to an event we had in August here at the Green Lake Snowmobile Club. And we had a lot of people from Vancouver have their cottages at Green Lake. So they came in wearing henna. Oh yeah, we know what that is. Yeah, it's great. And every single person who opened the show with me was like, what is that? What do you do with it? How long does it stay? Like they asked all these questions. They had never seen it before.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's those things, like you don't think of it, but it's those things that are so different. In the cities, you're exposed to so much more than you are in the country.
Right.
But in the country, people care about other people more.
It's more, I would say, maybe like more innocent way of life, perhaps, eh? More calmer, or not innocent necessarily, but more laid back, more calmer, maybe.
That's a city person's version of the country, really. Because when you live in the country, it's not calmer, it's not more laid back. You got chores to do, you have things you have to do to survive, right? So like gathering wood for the winter, if you heat with wood, all these chores you need to do are complete before winter sets in, because you can't do anything in the winter. It's too cold, and we don't have the machines, and you don't have the people. But it is quieter because you don't have
maybe
the
not as
people.
hectic then. Maybe not as hectic.
You can be hectic in the country too. And I know that sounds weird, but because we moved here.
Everything I say.
I know, and I hate to be oppositional to you. I really do. But it is a different kind of hectic.
Right, yeah.
You have to travel further to get the things you need. So you make lists, and when you've got enough on your list, or if you know someone else is going into town, and that's the other thing. People who grew up in the country, Kamloops is the town. It's a big city. So when we say we're going into town, we're talking about going into Kamloops, because that's where you do all your shopping, your amenities and things like that. And it was funny because I have friends who moved here from the city who've never lived in the country before. And they're like, oh, we're going into town. And I'm like, oh, you're going into Kamloops? She goes, no, we're going into Ashcroft. I'm like, oh, that's not town. It's a village. That's not town. And she looks at me funny, and I'm like, I slipped into my country ways rather quickly coming back here. I'm like, so I had to explain to her, town is Kamloops, because that's where you go when you need the doctor, when you need whatever it is, amenities. You can get things in Ashcroft, you can get groceries, you can get, there's a doctor there, but it's not, there's no specialists, there's no, you have the bare essentials and amenities. Yeah, which are lovely.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was, my sister Marie and I, we were talking about if she was in a position, we would like to retire back in Hamilton where we grew up. But there's the same thing, Hamilton is a small town, right? But to doctors, there's still doctors, but you'd have to go to Montreal or to Fredericton or Moncton to get specialists or certain things that you cannot have there. You have, again, like you said, you have all the amenities, immediate things you need. You can survive perfectly well without leaving the town. But unless you're something important like that, you can't get there, like you said, a specialist of some sort, right?
And it changes how you shop, because you do start making lists for Costco, for Superstore, for different places, for things that you can't get in the village. Yeah. But my friend noticed it. It was really hard for her. She has a shopping addiction, and she didn't know it until she moved into the country. And the first year for her here was really, really hard, because she couldn't just go wander around a mall and look at things, because there really wasn't much to go around and look at. You saw the 5 shops in the village, that was it. So she really had a hard time. She actually became quite depressed. And it wasn't till she realized that she had this shopping need. She felt better when she was shopping.
Wow.
And that can't be fulfilled in the country. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. I'm just thinking, because I remember, like, I was born in the 40s, so late 40s. So, for my mother, everything was what you couldn't get in town was through the Eaton's catalog. Things were by order, by mail, a lot of the times, right?
And now we have Amazon.
Yes, I love Amazon.
I buy so much shit on Amazon now, it's crazy. Like if I need something and I can't find it at the local hardware store, I go on Amazon and take a look, and I can have it in 3 or 4 days. Absolutely. And I don't have to drive an hour to go get it either.
Yep.
So it's nice. I
just ordered my smartwatch from Amazon, and it was such a good price. I ordered one for Jamie as well. So my daughter Jamie. So it's like I'm having fun with it, because it lets you know if you're getting a phone call, you can't answer it. But if you're getting a phone call, so you don't have to have your cell phone on you to know that somebody's trying to call you. You can always call them back, because you can be anywhere, right? And it's like,
yeah. Does it tell you who? That'd be great.
Apparently it does. Yes, it does. Sorry, it does.
Oh, that's awesome. So if you're busy in the kitchen, you just look, oh, I'll call them later, or oh no, I better get this now.
Yeah, definitely. I had to think about it, but yes, that it does tell you who it is calling, and so you have all of these things, your email, you can see who's emailing you, messages on Facebook or whatever. And it's like, oh, and I love new toys. To me, it's a toy. And I had a Fitbit, but it just died on me. Everything just completely stopped. The battery, nothing. And it's like, okay, time to breathe.
That's the other thing that's different in the country than in town, is we still have people here who live like they did 30 years ago. They still have landline phones. They don't have a cell phone. They have a computer, but it's not a laptop or a portable anything. It sits in the corner and they go in, and we still have people that, because they can live like that. And actually having a landline is advantageous sometimes, because
I still have my landline. Well, in my building, as you know, I'm in a 55 plus, and a lot of people here are older than me, and the same thing. They don't have a cell phone. even they don't have, some of them don't even have a computer, right? You know, because not everybody knows how to do it. A lot of the older people can be intimidated by technology, so they just sort of stay away from it. So I see both sides of it, but I like, as much as I like, I mean, I think I could go without, because I've done it before, you know, things shut down, right? That's the one thing with electronics, things shut down. If the power goes off, you have no Wi-Fi, which is fine. You survive, you know, right? See, I just got a message here. I don't know what it said. Oh, here it is. Oh, somebody reacted to a photo. Sorry,
Do you need to know that now?
Pardon?
Do you need to know that now?
No, I just want that, you know, just so curious, right? It's just,
I know, but it keeps you plugged in 24/7. And that's what I also like about the country,
yeah,
is you can unplug really easily.
yeah.
You just step outside. There's really that's it. Driving to Kamloops, you lose cell service 3 times during the drive. So you really literally just step outside. I took the kids to Crown Lake, which is just past Hat Creek Ranch. I don't know if anyone knows where that is, but it's on the way to Lillooet.
Okay.
And you lose cell phone service just past Hat Creek.
Hmm.
And it's so amazing. It's so awesome to not have to be distracted with the ding, bing, bing. You've got a message, you've got something going on in Facebook, you've got this, you've got that.
But I don't look at it the same way. Mind you, when I lived in Ryder Lake, there was no cell phone service up there. I think they have it now, but I don't see it as a distraction, because what happens for me is, if it bothers me, I turn it off. Like, it's as simple as that. I don't wear this to bed. You know, at night I turn off my cell phone and I turn off this thing. Everything's off.
But you know how hard that is for people to do these days? Like, there's lots of people who have a really hard time unplugging. Right. They'll be laying in bed and they'll hear a bing on their phone and they'll think, oh, what's that about? I wonder. I should get up and see it. And they'll get up and they'll go look at their phone, and it's nothing. It's a little advertisement for something or whatever it is. But we're so plugged in the city, and it's so hard to unplug.
That's true. Yeah. A lot of people have to make a point of it, I think. Right. I hear people saying they're going to go on vacation and they're not going to take their cell phones or whatever it is with them. And it's a good way. And I think, I don't know, you know, as we go through these changes in our lives, from the time I was a kid to now, all through the ages, like when I was young, TV became a thing, right? And the parents before my parents would say, oh my God, what's going to happen to all these kids who are now sitting in front of the TV all the time? They're going to lose their imagination. It's not what happens. But people now say the same thing about kids always being on their cell phone. But it's just a new way of life. I don't know if they might lose something, but they gain as well. So it's like, it's a give and take, in my opinion, you know, right? We're no worse off now because we have cell phones, unless you're addicted to picking up your messages all the time. But we can be addicted to anything, no matter where we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that dopamine, got to get that dopamine hit.
Yeah. Now, originally you moved there, I believe, because your parents live in Ashcroft, right?
Yes. And we looked for well over a year to find a house in Ashcroft and couldn't find anything that suited what we needed. We needed like all the 1 floor living. Yeah. Because my husband's quite a bit older than I am. Yeah.
Yeah. And he has trouble getting around now, right? So
yeah,
makes sense. And I think as you get older anyway, you appreciate having everything on one level, you know, having grown up in a 2-story, and then I'm in a condo, and you were in a condo when before you moved, and it's not easy living in a condo and then going back to house must feel wonderful.
It did. Yeah, it's a little overwhelming, but I had some great friends that came and helped me get everything sort of, I mean, it takes at least a year to get into any kind of place that you're living in.
For sure. And you have a beautiful view, right?
I do. I have a lovely view. It's not so lovely at the moment because of smoke, but yeah, we do have we look over Cache Creek, the village itself.
Right.
So
it sounds like it's kind of settled in as way in the sense that you've made some friends there and established a life for yourself. So that was really good.
And it happened really fast for me because I already had friends here. So I had a friend who actually just moved to Kelowna. She came and stayed with me for a week this week because of the fires. But she was already really actively involved in the Legion, the Ladies Auxiliary. And so I got kind of thrown in there helping them with dinners and volunteering and stuff for that. So that got me right off the bat, right into something and meeting people. And then I joined 2 different art groups. One is the Ashcroft Art Club, and the other is a smaller club called the Clinton Country Artists. And the Clinton Country Artists, once a month, each artist in the group takes a month, and that's they choose a project. So the first month I was there in January, we had a lovely lady who had taken a course on how to underpaint. And so she taught us all underpainting, to create brighter effects in your paints and that kind of thing in your paintings. So we've had like little mini lessons or mini things all the way along. We took a break in the summer, and we just finished an art show in August at the Green Lake Snowmobile Club. Yeah.
That sounds cool. Although I'm not a joiner really, but that sounds cool.
It's, you know, what I like most about it is they get along and they share each other's talents. So it's not just, oh, look what I can do. It's, oh, look what I can do. And you can do this too.
Yeah. I guess, you know, in a way I understand that, because if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be painting now, because you got me to go to those paint nights, right?
Yeah.
And that's got me, you know, and then took Marie, my sister Marie, and then now she and I are both painting all the time. We'd like to sell our work. That's a different thing, of course, you know.
Yeah. Selling your art takes a different mindset than it does to create it. That's for sure.
For sure, yeah. So what else do you have on the go? Anything new?
Oh, I just started doing acrylic pour. I suck at it right now, but my paintings, they're too busy. This is one of my favorites. It's my absolute favorite. Oh, can't do it with this. But I'm gonna have to turn off my background. This is better than some of the other ones I've done. The ones I do now are just too busy. There's too much going on. Okay. I think, but this is one of my favorites. It's got a golden feather in there, and
I can't see all of that. I see mostly just dark colors.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna turn off my. Whoop, that didn't work. I'm gonna turn off my background because that'll make
something
easier.
about painting painting or whatever. Oh, I see it. Oh, right. Okay, now I see it better.
So this is done with acrylic pour. So rather than using a brush, you use liquefied paints.
Oh, I love,
and you tilt it, and
that's fun. I have some of those pouring paints, and it's fun. And I got even one of these little containers with these different slots in it.
Yes.
So you can put all these colors in, and then, right, it's kind of fun to do that, you know.
Yeah, I just bought one of those. I'm taking a course online. I should plug her actually, because she's really good. Her name's Olga Solby, and she's very good. She lets you know kind of the chemistry of how things work in the acrylic pours and why things crack and why things. So it's I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and it's fun, isn't it? Like I like to play with textures, and I'll add like not real feathers, but feathers that I purchased, you know, to a painting. Like I made this funny little bird, and it still is all feathers that I bought, rather than painted feathers, you know. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I like to put real stuff, like 3D effect, I guess.
Yeah, multimedia.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and it's kind of fun, you know. And I you know, we just recently had an auction for our cupcake fundraiser, and somebody donated. It didn't sell, but somebody donated something I'd never heard of before. It was called drywall art, and it's drywall putty on plywood.
Yeah,
it's like
it's cool, eh?
It is so cool.
Yeah.
The whole thing's heavy because it's like 2 feet by 4 feet. So it's pretty heavy, but it was just a really interesting thing. And somebody said, oh, that's not art. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? What do you mean that's not art? Of course it's art, you know?
Yeah.
Like just because it's something you don't care for, that doesn't make it not art. That's my.
And I think it's a double-edged sword when you're an artist.
Yeah. When
you paint and people appreciate what you paint and they start to love it, they want you to paint more like that, which then starts to limit you, because now you're trying to please other people. You're trying to, you know, sell your art, which is important because you need the money to support your art. Yes. Your habit, which is a very expensive habit.
Yes.
But I find that it's a double-edged sword. If you're starting to paint for other people, you're losing what's drawing you into your art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I watched, again, I watched Marie evolve. At first I'm more fantasy and abstract. That's basically what I do. Whereas Marie was more like realism type of stuff, but now she's started going into the abstract, and it's so much fun to see somebody do like these transitions, right? Whether it's yourself or another person, it's really interesting. I'm not surprised with you doing all of these things because you have a lot of creative talent that you've done or exhibited over the years. During our friendship, I've seen a lot of different things that you do, right? Weren't you staining? What were you doing? You were working with or painting the glasswork or something at one time?
Oh yeah, I was using alcohol. I've got some of those as well. Alcohol inks and paints on glass.
Right.
What I did not count on is that alcohol inks are very volatile, and if you have them in the sun or somewhere where they gets a lot of light, they dissolve. They disappear into the air.
Oh no!
Unless you seal them, and I of course didn't seal mine because I didn't know that about my art. So
right,
I have learned since being in these groups how to hang a painting, how to finish it. Like I just paint and like, ta-da, it's done. No. You have to seal it somehow so that it stays like it is. You have to somehow mount it to a wall so people can enjoy it.
Yeah, I now seal all of my work because Marie told me about it. I hadn't even thought about it before, although I kind of knew about it in my head, but I just didn't, do anything about it. So yeah, it's good to do that. Oh, question now, because we're going to run out of time soon. Are you working?
I am not currently. I'm volunteering working. I get a stipend from the Legion. I go and clean twice a week.
Yeah.
But that's it. I've put a resume out to a bunch of different places, but as you know, my name on the internet's not the nicest. So
what do you mean?
I haven't heard.
What?
Because of the College of Nurses putting everything online, and my supervisor who hated me saying really horrible things about me that the College of Nurses then put online because, well, why would a supervisor lie? All that stuff is on there for anyone to look at any time. And so I don't know. I think that's why I haven't gotten work yet.
Right.
So,
those are the things that Coralee, that just get to me, that people.
Injustice?
Yes, totally. How one person can be so bent on destroying somebody's career, and then all these other people without really looking into the facts.
It's
right?
just like every social media thing out there.
Yeah.
Now the College of Nurses is just like any social media thing out there. They never remove anything that's up there, and they never check their facts. They think they know it all. And okay, fine, fair enough. My response to hers is not online, but her stuff is all online about me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, shame on them. Really, shame on them. I know that karma is real. We have to know that. We have to believe in that, because sometimes otherwise you think people can't not continuously get away with, like, there's sometimes it's going to fall back, like something in my building.
I have lovely people in my life, and I know that something will come my way because I do need to start working. This house needs some things that I can't afford just on Pete's retirement. So
sure, yeah, right. Well, we're just about out of time. So on that sad note, I didn't mean it wasn't really sad. I just love our conversations. They're always been this way, all over the place kind of thing, right? Anyway, so
and we should Zoom more. I think I do have a friend who Zooms with me every couple of weeks or so, and I enjoy it. Yeah. It's not as good as being in person, but it's better than nothing at all.
Better than not seeing the person. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So just hang there for a second. Thanks, everybody. You've been listening to my friend Coralee Holmes, and perhaps, like she said, we should do more of this. So let's find out what we can share in the future. Until then, everybody, take care and peace out.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see.